No, it's Nancy's bracelet. Rings through my head. What the hell was her bracelet doing here? No, it's not possible. Ellen must be mistaken. It's just not possible. It makes no sense. No way, Ellen. There is no way that's Nancy's bracelet, I tell her. Yeah, I know there's no way, but I know it's hers, Ellen tells us. Just then we hear a noise coming from the bridge area. It sounds like metal hitting metal. All four of us turn to look at the bridge. At the point where we are at, we are about 15 yards from the bridge. We look at each other nervously. Ellen is still down in the creek area, frozen looking at the bridge. Ellen, quick, come back over here, I shouted to her. She snapped out of her gaze and ran up the slope of the creek. The three of us lifted the chicken wire with all our strength. Ellen ran up with no problem and crossed underneath. We stood by the wire fence and looked at each other. Then we heard the sound again. Without saying anything, we ran to the car. The car was still on, so we took off. I looked back and didn't see anything. I'd checked the time to make sure our parents would still be out. Looks good. As long as nothing bad happens, we should make it back with time to spare. We were quiet in the car. I looked at Ellen and could tell she was scared. You okay, Ellen? I asked. Yeah, I'm fine. That place, it just gives me the creeps, she replied. There's no way that's Nancy's bracelet, Ellen. It's probably just one that looks like hers, Jack tells her. Okay, Jack, then look at it. Tell me if her name is on it, Ellen says out loud as she pulls the bracelet out of her pocket and throws it to Jack. Well, Jack, James looks over and asks. Damn, guys, it has her name on it. God, what do we do now? We have to tell someone, James says nervously. Yeah, you're right, James, but what do we say? That we came to a haunted bridge before Nancy went missing, and when we came back, her bracelet was there. Who do you think will believe that story? Ellen says. Well, damn, it's the truth, Jack says. Haven't you seen enough movies? A truth like that does two things. One, make you a suspect. Two, have you locked away in a mental hospital. We have to figure out something that doesn't involve a supposed haunted bridge. Ellen yells out. I agree, guys. Saying a story like that will make us look crazy, I tell them. So what then? What are we supposed to do? James says. I don't know. I'll hold on to the bracelet till we figure something out, Ellen says. Now we have a dilemma. We have a piece of evidence that could help find Nancy, but what was it doing at the bridge? I agree with Ellen, saying that story to the cops sounds crazy and would definitely make us look suspicious. We need to find out how and why her bracelet was there. We got back home at 5:30 p.m. That was plenty of time for us to get the car back and beat our parents home. I turned on the TV and watched the news till my parents got home. The news was reporting on Nancy missing and the search effort to find her. Damn, I just wonder how that bracelet got there. Mom and Dad walked in the door as the news show ended. Hey, any luck? I asked them. No, we covered a lot of ground, but nothing was found though, Dad said. I can't imagine what her parents are going through. Please, Andy, be safe and stay close to home. If you see anything out of the ordinary, tell us, Mom tells me. Of course I will, Mom. Mom gives me a hug and I go to my room. After her speech, I desperately wanted to tell her about the bracelet and the bridge. But how? How can I even begin to explain that? They will probably just think I'm making the whole thing up. Not to mention the trouble I would be in for going to the bridge. Before bedtime, I called James, Jack, and Ellen. My parents told me they didn't find anything, I told them. Our parents had the same thing they all said collectively. What do we do, guys? I know we shouldn't say anything, but we need to, I said. I know we do, Andy. It's just too insane to say how we found it. Tomorrow I'm going to the library and do some research. Maybe I can find something that will help us, Ellen tells us. What do you think can help us? I'm pretty sure the library doesn't have a creepy haunted book section, Jack says sarcastically. Calm down, smartass. There has to be some explanation. Some kind of folklore book, Ellen says. Okay, guys, let's all calm down. That's a good idea, Ellen. See what you can find. Let's just be cool and try to find some answers, I tell them. The conversation ended shortly after. Ellen had a good idea. Maybe there is some kind of book that can explain this. But at the same time, I could see where Jack was coming from. There's not exactly books or encyclopedias that openly advertise supernatural events. Either way, we have to do something. The day finally came to an end. Seems like each day keeps getting longer and crazier. I was ready for bed. With no school tomorrow, I was going to sleep in and let my mind settle. I drifted off to sleep. I didn't seem like I was asleep that long when I was awoken by some kind of loud sound. At first, I didn't know what the sound was, but then I remember where I heard the sound before. It was at the bridge, the metal hitting metal sound. I laid in bed wondering if this was a nightmare or reality. Then I heard another sound. It sounded like footsteps, but from far away. I got the courage and got out of bed. I looked over and saw that my bedroom door was closed. Okay? I think I did close it before I fell asleep. I look at the window on my right. It faces the backyard. The blinds are closed. Nothing unusual. I always have the blinds closed. Then I look over to the window on the left. This window faces the front yard and the road. It also faces the house across the road. For some reason, I feel compelled to go to this window. I get up and walk over to the window. The blinds are halfway open. No big deal, I oftentimes leave them that way. But why am I drawn to this window? It's like I have to look out, like someone is telling me to go and look. I stand about a foot away from the window. I can see out the blind. There's a lamppost just outside our yard on the sidewalk. On the other side of the road is another lamppost and is also by the sidewalk. Beyond that lamppost, I see our neighbor's house. There's no light from the inside. The lamppost slightly illuminates their house. Okay, I tell myself nothing unusual, just another dark night. Then I see it, a shadow figure standing by the house. It looks so odd. It's a person, I think, only it's completely black. I don't mean that it's wearing black clothing. I mean this person looks like a shadow, moving like a person. It's pacing around the neighbor's window. It looks like the back is facing towards me. I feel frozen in place. I can't move, and I don't know what to do. The figure stops moving. Oh shit. It looks like it's turning around. Shit, it did turn around. It's walking towards the street lamp. Now I see that dark figure in the light. It truly is just a shadow figure. A human body void of color. Just an empty void. I feel my stomach drop. It turns back around and heads back to the neighbor's house. I swear I see the figure walk through the brick wall and disappear. I feel myself breathing heavily. My body feels light as a feather. I continue to look out the window. I want to yell for help. My body is still frozen. Next thing I know, my eyes are closed. I fall back to sleep. Maybe I was asleep the whole time. I was having a dream, or was I? I contemplated the entire time if it was a dream. It felt weird, second-guessing myself in a dream about a dream. I think the stress is eating me up. All of a sudden, I was awakened by police sirens. In the sound of the sirens, I heard a loud scream. It's daylight outside. I pinch myself. Yeah, I'm awake. I hear my parents running in the house. The sirens are right outside my house. The screaming is right outside. I look outside through my window, and there is 3 cop cars and a black car. There's a lady outside screaming. Oh no, it's Ryan Malt's mom. Ryan lives across from me. Mom and Dad stormed into my room. Andy, are you okay? Dad nearly shouting at me. Yes, Dad, I am okay. What's going on? We're not sure, but it looks bad. Mom, Dad, and me walk out of our front door. I look around to the other houses and see everyone standing outside. James and his parents walked over to us. Sheriff Garza and Agent Copper are trying to calm down Ms. Maltz. Agent Copper turns his head around and makes eye contact with me. He says something to the sheriff and walks in our direction. Good morning, folks. I wish this could have been a better start to your morning. But did any of you hear or see anything unusual last night? Agent Copper asked us. No, sir. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly has happened? Dad asked. It appears Mr. Ryan Maltz was taken from his house last night. Andy, James, did you hear or see anything last night? Or do you have someone who dislikes Ryan? Both of us answered no to Agent Copper. Agent Copper was talking to James's parents and mine. All of a sudden, I began to wonder if what I saw was real last night. Damn, Nancy's bracelet at the bridge, the shadow figure last night. I couldn't hold it in. I was about to break down and tell Agent Copper. Then I heard someone yelling out my name. It was Jack and Ellen running to my house. Andy, are you okay? Jack says nervously to me. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. Let me know if you can think of anyone who might have disliked Mr. Maltz. Also, any information about last night will be helpful, Agent Copper tells us. Agent Copper bowed his head and then walks over back to Sheriff Garza. James' parents and my parents talk amongst themselves. James, Jack, Ellen, and me circle around each other. "Hey, what happened?" Ellen asks. "Ryan, someone took him," James says with a scared look on his face. "What the hell, you serious?" Jack says. "Hey guys, something strange or odd, or I don't know how to explain it. Last night, I was about to say what I saw, but Ellen cuts me off. "Hold on, Andy. Not here. Wait till it's just us. I felt like everyone is staring at us," Ellen says. We look around and see all of our neighbors outside. The cops are putting yellow tape around Ryan's house. Sheriff Garza is talking to Ryan's parents. Agent Copper is down on a knee, looking at something on the ground, right where I saw the shadow figure. With what we found out about Nancy, and now this, yeah, we're paranoid. "Yeah, you're right, Ellen. I'll tell you all in a bit. I found some books at the library. I think they might help us," Ellen tells us. The morning got off to a scary start. Aside from Nancy missing, now Ryan is missing. The police don't want to say he was kidnapped, but everyone is starting to say that. James, Jack, and Ellen were able to come over to my house. It's still late morning. The cops are still at Ryan's house as I peek through my windows. "Andy, what were you going to say out there?" Jack asks. "I don't know if it was a dream or if it was real. I heard that sound we heard at the bridge." I walked to the window and saw a shadow-like figure standing outside Ryan's house. It looked at me, then walked through the wall of his house. Next thing I know, I jump out of bed. "Wow, that's insane," Jack says. "Did any of you have a dream like that?" I asked. Everyone shook their head in a collective no response. "Hey, Ellen, you said you might have found a book that can help us," James asked. "Yeah, check it out. I found 2 books, Texas Myths and Folklore and Heritage Folklore. Each one tells of a mythical beings that take children away." "Yeah, but it's myth and folklore. It's not based on reality, just some made-up stories to scare people," Jake says with a smirk. "Made-up stories? Have you forgotten what has happened to us? The bridge, shared nightmares, and now missing people," Ellen says aggressively. "Come on, chill out, guys. Look at this point. Any kind of explanation or insight will help us. There is some crazy things that have been going on. I think any kind of information will be useful," I tell them. "I agree. All that has happened doesn't seem real. So it's possible we might have to look in weird books for answers. Last I checked, I didn't see anything in a science book that explains any of this," James says calmly. "Sorry, Ellen. I didn't mean to be rude. Please tell us what you found," Jack says sincerely. There is something these 2 books have in common. They write about an entity that came to life when there is mischievous kids. It seeks them out and drags them to a dark place between the light and the dark. It feeds on their sorrow and negativity, Ellen tells us. "Holy shit, that sounds like a scary monster," Jack says. "It's believed upon by the Hispanic and Mexican communities. It's writing here that this legend goes back hundreds of years," Ellen says. "Wait a minute. It's true then. All those stories we have heard about the bridge. All this started when we went there. Shit, guys, the stories are true. It's La Llorona," I said fearfully. "It's not La Llorona, Andy. The Lorena only haunts a specific location. She will draw you back to the location, then kill that person. This entity is different. It follows you. It's called El Cucuy." "El Cucuy. Yeah, I heard of that. If you're a bad kid, the Cucuy comes at night and takes you away." "My parents would tell me that when I would misbehave," Jack tells us. "That does explain somewhat." "I mean, Nancy, Ryan, they're not exactly the best people at school," I say. "Just one thing, though. Nancy and Ryan didn't go to the bridge. We did. So what happens to us?" Jack says. "I don't know. All the books say is El Cucuy will awaken and take those that are mean and evil," Ellen says. "Damn, is it our fault? Did we wake him up?" I said. "Hey, Jack, do you think Leroy knows any stories that we don't know about it? He has gone to the bridge many times," he said. "Maybe he can tell us something," Ellen says. "Yeah, let's call him. If anyone is going to know anything, it will be him," Jack says. We tried to call Leroy, but there was no answer when we tried. Before we knew it was lunchtime. Mama made us some sandwiches as we hung out in my room. I was looking over the books Ellen had gotten. I came upon an interesting passage. I don't think Ellen noticed it. "Hey guys, I'm going to call Leroy again," Jack says. The phone rings and then we hear hello. Hey Leroy, is this you? Jack says. Who is this? It's me, your cousin Jack. Oh, hey, what's up, cousin? Hey man, weird stuff is going on. I was wondering maybe if you can help us out with what's going on. What can I help you with? The Amargosa Bridge. How much do you know about it? Real and scary stories. Well, this is what I heard growing up. If you go late at night, you might encounter a figure, a dark, shadowy person. Only it's not a person. Some say it's a haunted soul or maybe a demon. Either way, this figure is not human. It has no characteristics. It's just a dark void in the shape of a human. My skin began to crawl and I felt like I was swallowing my tongue. Leroy described the figure I saw. I never felt so much genuine fear in my entire life. Leroy continued to talk. Also, if you go during the daytime, you might see some trash around the bridge. Supposedly, it's not trash. It is the belongings of those that it captured and took with him. It leaves behind little mementos of the captured, almost to mock those that go looking. You say it captures people. Where's the thing taking those people? Is it like a troll that lives under the bridge? Jack asked. No man, it isn't no troll. It doesn't live in this world. It takes them to the bridge and they cross over, Leroy says. Cross over? To where? Jake, as to whatever lies beyond the darkness, Leroy tells us. Hey Leroy, it's Ellen. Did you or your friends ever see anything when you went out there? Well, there was sometimes that strange things happened. I can tell you every time we went, we felt a draft of cool air. Fog would form near the bridge area. My buddy Tony, he went one time by himself and told me he saw a dark figure standing on top of the bridge. I never saw anything like that, though. What makes you think that figure takes people beyond the darkness? Ellen asks. There's been quite a few people that have died there through the years. I have heard, with that much tragedy, it opens or stains the area with evil. Did anyone ever go missing during the time you went over there? What? No, not here anyway. I think a couple of people in or near Collins. The only weird thing was Tony went kind of bipolar. He spent a couple of years in a hospital. Hey guys, wish I could talk more, but I got to go. Okay, thanks, Leroy. Everything good on your end? You seem a little off, Leroy asks. We're good. Thanks again, Leroy, Jack says. Our talk with Leroy helped out. He answered some questions and gave us some insight, although we still have some unanswered questions. Why didn't people go missing when they went? He did mention some people from Collins, but they're 20 miles away. Also, his friend Tony? Why did he go bipolar? We need to go back to the bridge again, Ellen says. What? You're crazy. I'm not going anywhere near that bridge, James says. You heard Leroy. There might be something there of Ryan's. That proves El Cucuy is there and has taken Nancy and Ryan, Ellen says. Okay, let's say we do find something of Ryan's, then what? We go to the sheriff, the FBI, or our parents and tell them El Cucuy is real, that he is at the bridge and taking them to some dark world, Jake says defensively. We have to find a way to stop El Cucuy, Ellen says frantically. What do you mean we? What are we supposed to do? We're just kids in high school and any sane adult would not believe a word we say, Jake says. Look guys, everything the both of you are saying is right. We should go to the bridge and see if there is anything of Ryan. That will confirm El Cucuy has taken him. Now as far as stopping him, well, I don't know, I tell them. Even if we wanted to go back, how will we get there? There is a big panic right now, James says. My parents are at work. I can take our spare car, Ellen tells us. I'm not going. Count me out, James tells us. I'm with James on this one. I'm not going either, Jack says. Okay, Ellen and me will go then. I'll tell my parents I'm going to your place, James. Then we'll leave to the bridge, I say. Good. It won't take us long. We'll be back within an hour, Ellen tells us. Jack, James, can you do something that will help us out while we're gone? I tell them. What is it, Andy? Nothing crazy, please, Jake says. Find out who Tony is. I'm sure he's in Leroy's yearbook. Maybe he has some answers to our questions. Okay, that won't be a problem. My aunt, Leroy's mom, has his old yearbooks at her house. I'll stop by. James, you coming with me? How far is his house? James asked Jack. Not too far, a block down from here, Jack tells James. Okay, Jack, I'll tag along with you, James tells him. All right then, sounds like we have a plan. Let's go get to it, I say with a smile. We leave my house and set out. Ellen and me are going to sneak out of town while James and Jack find out about Tony. I look over to Ryan's house and see the yellow caution tape. I remember back in the day when the two of us would play in that yard. My God, how times have changed.